And tonight we're looking at the impact of one very innovative campaign, the Carling Black Label No Excuse Bride Armour campaign. It aims to foster a smart drinking culture and reduce harm due to alcohol abuse. Let's talk to now Dr. Musa Mthombeni, who is a doctor and a media personality and is one of the ambassadors for the campaign, along with his wife and former Miss South Africa, Liesl, Laurie Mthombeni. Doctor, welcome. Thank you for being with us. Firstly, you and your wife have attracted some attention of late for your wedding vows, which you say should actually become standard in marriage ceremonies. Tell us more.
Right, so the No Excuse campaign for the year of 2021 really focuses on this idea of IPV, so this intimate partner violence. I think with stories that break like this, with sentences that break like this, they're always heartbreaking to hear this idea that someone has decided that they're going to abuse the person that they've vowed to love. So if a Musa walks up to a girl and says, hey, I love you, I want you to be my partner, you'd expect this person to be someone that will take care and protect and look after. And the opposite ends up happening. So for this campaign, the big focus really lives around what bride armor is. So this campaign speaks to the symbolism that lives at looking at what women that go into marriage, go into these relationships with partners, need to actually come into this relationship looking like. So if you look at the video that's currently on now, what you're seeing is we now have found ourselves in a position where women have to come into a relationship or an intimate, relationship with someone and put on this armor just in case they find themselves being hurt or being abused by their partner. So, I mean, you can see in the video here that that's a Kevlar vest or wedding dress that the person is wearing, and that's how women in South Africa find themselves having to go into any relationship or any interaction with any male, and that's what we're speaking towards and highlighting this in intimate partner violence. So now, No Excuse has been around for a couple of years, and this year's focus is that, but really speaks to this idea that we want men to take a stand. Not just say that I don't abuse, but I won't abuse, but I won't allow myself to watch while someone is being abused. And the one way that we found this year to be something that we'd like to highlight is really by saying the people that have taken the stance and said, I'm getting married, I want to get married, we want the vows to change at home affairs. Not only to say, I want to love and, hold and, sickness and health and all those sort of things, but really speak to the direct action that we want. And that is, I will not abuse. That the hope of you putting that wording in there changes something within you and highlights a point that says, I will not find myself in a situation where I've now harmed or caused harm to you.
And this is something that you and your wife actually did in your marriage vows. Was this something you spoke about extensively before getting married?
So the one thing I've always spoken to, I hear that one to anyone. I think a lot of the time, the idea and I think society as a whole in South Africa really finds this idea that, once you say you're my girlfriend, we carry that tag a lot. Once I say you're my wife, we carry that tag that says you are now mine. And I don't believe in that at all. My wife is a person that is that by herself. She exists. She's only my wife by virtue of, language more than anything else. And taking away this idea of possession out of things. Therefore, when people feel like they're, aren't agreed with in a relationship or find that maybe they feel like they're disrespected by their partner, whatever it might be, they feel like I am your owner, therefore my possession of you can result in me beating you because you are my property. And it's the kind of stuff and the kind of language that we need to stay away from and move away from and start moving towards a 50-50 relationship where we both respect each other, we both have opinions, and we can both do as we please, but the respect element needs to live, and we need to know that we can't abuse each other within this intimate partnership.
Yeah. So this is wonderful. I love the idea, but isn't there this problem? The kind of man who would make a vow like that, like yourself, is a kind of man who probably wouldn't hurt their spouse in the first place. So how do you go about actually holding men who may hurt their spouses accountable or get them to hold themselves accountable?
So the big thing here is, we like discounting adult behaviors to ideas that they can't change. And as human beings, we are supposed to change. Big, bad, as well as big, good experiences need to allow you to change in some way, shape, or form. And that really is how evolution works. So I think that's the first point. And the one thing that we can't run away from is this. If you're someone that maybe is or was abusive in the past, or is someone that, finds themselves in a situation where they may abuse, it's a language and an idea that we need to speak around to say that, cool, What we want from you is to speak this language, not only to a Musa of the world who might have these ideas because he's learned or whatever it might be, but everyone across the board to say that we can get this message to you. And what No Excuse campaign does is that it highlights and is able to assist. So it's not just one thing where, we identify problems and say, oh, wow, IPC is such a big issue in the country, but it provides solutions. So with the help of Lifeline, as well as Father and Nation, there's so many things that have happened over the years, so many interventions that come into play that these facilities and these initiatives bring out, that if you are an abuser or find yourself in a situation where you're not sure, of your stance and where you could be and all that sort of stuff with regards to abuse, are able to get help. I mean, last year during lockdown, the campaign that we ran was really a campaign that lived around speaking out in your silence. So if you were locked up in the house with your abuser during lockdown, there's no way you can escape. So what we highlighted there is that we have a WhatsApp line that you can message and you can get the help that you need. You can get assistance to get you out of that situation so that you're no longer living or in the same space as your abuser. Yeah. And it was just a simple technique like using a WhatsApp line, something that a lot of us would have, disregarded and been like, it's just a WhatsApp message. But that alone offered so many pathways in which people can get help. Not only the abuser, but also, not only the abused, but also the abuser. For you to say, I'm an abuser, I can't stop myself, how can I get the assistance? And there are pathways in which Father Nation as well as Lifeline are able to assist you there too.
All right. Thank you so much. I wish we could chat about this more, and hopefully we'll get the chance. I wanted to ask you, women can get help. We've been crying out for those safe houses. But what about men? Do you believe that they can change? But it's great to see a man spearheading, being part of this campaign as one of the ambassadors, Dr. Musa Mthombeni.